welcome to Pinkvilla USA Weekender, your weekly show hosted by me, Nehal Tenany, on all things entertainment, Bollywood, what to watch, what not to watch, so welcome. Okay, let's talk about the #1 Netflix show in the entire world, Squid Game. So if you haven't watched this show, I don't know what the heck you're doing. You need to get on your TV or get on your couch and watch Netflix right now. So this show is a very thriller-esque show, okay? So basically a group of people who are in debt need to pay off their debt somehow. So this game or something calls them unknowingly and says, hey, come play some games and we will give you the money. And the money can be up to 46 billion wons. And the reason I say wons is because the show is actually in South Korean. So when you get to actually what the games are, you're probably like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. It's probably just like playing or gambling for money. Actually, they're deadly games. And they're actually children's games that we played growing up. I don't know about you, but I played red light, green light growing up. So as you start to see that these games are deadly and people are really wanting this money for debts and family members and keeping their life together, it starts to get very interesting. You go really, really attached to all of the characters because honestly, they were freaking incredible. And just each game just keeps progressing, and the storyline behind the who is doing all these games, what's happening, and what is the ending like just keeps you on your edge. If you don't binge watch this in one day, my name is not Nehal Tenany. So one of my favorite things about this show was the female breakout star. I'm totally going to mispronounce her name or butcher it, so apologies, but it's Jung Ho-yeon. She actually was, her first episode ever, or first show ever, was this show actually. And she grew from like less than 100,000 followers to millions and millions of followers overnight. And the coolest thing that happened recently with her is that Louis Vuitton actually booked her as their face and new model recently. So she is making breakaways. You know, we've seen a lot of Korean superstars come out with BTS, and you have Blackpink, pop star groups, but now to see Korean films kind of, and TV shows actually after Parasite, get their own spotlight, I think that's pretty amazing. When are Indian people gonna come out now? Speaking of Indian breakout stars or Indian things, we actually did have an Indian character from Delhi in Squid Games, and his name was Anupam Tripathi, and he was freaking awesome. You probably know him as Ali on the show. And he was able to speak Korean and Hindi both simultaneously during the entire show. And I was like, wow, I don't understand the Korean portion, but definitely understand the Hindi portion. His story is pretty interesting too. He moved from Delhi to Korea to go to school there. And he went to an international school, picked up on the language, and then started going on his journey in entertainment. And so I'm hoping to see him more. I don't think he has any like Bollywood movies or anything, so he's staying in that kind of realm of the entertainment industry, but excited to see him more actually come out in hopefully USA movies and TV shows. And on the latest with Aryan Khan, so if you are following the news, then you definitely know Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, was arrested because he was at a party and there was a huge drug investigation and they found a bunch of cocaine, ecstasy, MDMA, whatever. And now he's under custody, so there's this whole hearing. Well, will he get bail? It's unsure whether he did the drugs or not because there's not enough substantial evidence for it. But I think that a lot of influential people and Bollywood stars, celebrities, and their sons and daughters were at this party. And so I think they're just trying to get to like where the drugs are coming from and who should be it, like who should take responsibility for it. I did see Hrithik Roshan write a post for Aryan Khan saying like, you know, don't worry, things are going to get better. This is just the beginning. Like, you know, on his side, basically saying like, don't worry, you're going through all this media hell. But, you know, it didn't get the best responses. People are like, he did something wrong and he should get punished for it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really not sure who's right or who's wrong. I do think Bollywood stars sometimes get a lot of privilege for obviously being Bollywood stars. And so we don't know the extent of what's going to happen, but I just know his parents are probably working really hard to get him out of trouble, and we don't know if he did or not. We also had Paris Fashion Week happen recently, and guess who was there? Our very own Aishwarya Rai. She's actually a brand ambassador for L'Oreal, and she looked absolutely stunning, but I think the coolest part was seeing her interactions with Camila Cabello. It was like all my worlds were colliding. It was USA, Camila, India, Aishwarya together.
And
And lastly, on upcoming Bollywood movies, there is a movie coming out called Maidan, and it's a true story about football, Indian football, so soccer, and it is featuring Ajay Devgan. And it's a true story based off a coach from back in the days named Syed Abdul Rahim. And the coolest part is it's one of those like feel-good movies about motivation, self-belief, and like doing it and owning it. So I'm actually really excited to see it. My name is Nehal, and I'll catch you next week. Bye!